Peace. Salute, salute, salute. Good family. Um, Give me 1 second, you guys. Let me just adjust my little stuff. Hold on. Just adjust my little stuff here. Okay. I think I'm okay. Salute to the good family. Peace and love, everybody. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. Everything is audible for you. I think I'm good on my end. Salute to the good people. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody had a good weekend. First of all, Happy New Year to the good people for those who consider, of course, January 1st to be the new year. I know some people celebrate it actually in spring, but either way, we are aligned with a new season, right? Entering a new landscape. So salute and blessings to the good family. Let's see who we got in the building. Hold on, let me check with my good family, see who we have up in here today. Oh my goodness. First on deck is my beautiful sis. Beautiful sis, I got your call. Forgive me, I was running around a little bit earlier. I meant to text you that, of course, I will chop it up with you directly after this live if you are free. Okay, we will definitely get on the phone and chop it up as we love to do. So salute to you, beautiful sis. I definitely look forward to speaking with you later this evening once we wrap up here. I will definitely call you. Hope everything's well with my beautiful sis. She says, salute to my beautiful sis and chat family. Peace and blessings to all. Yes, indeed, beautiful sis. Thank you so much for joining this Sunday. Always happy to have my sis 10 toes on deck. Who else we got in the building? My number one comrade, the king and the coach Hudson is in the building. Happy New Year to you, King. Salute to my comrade. He says, salute to the queen of boxing media, my number one comrade, the beautiful and intellectual queen, SugarFreeMars. Thank you so much for that, King. It's always a pleasure to have you in the building. You already know what time it is. I hope everything is well with you and yours, King. Always extending infinite blessings your way. You already know what time it is, King. Salute to the King. Also, Snoopy Mac in the building. Dream Team 10 toes on deck. You already know where we at with it, okay? Salute to the King, Snoop. He says, Miss Queen Sugar Free, Queen Sugar. He keeps it nice and sweet, nice and simple every time. Salute to you, King. Thank you so much for joining. Peace and blessings to you as always. Oh my goodness, here he go. My dude, my God, my brother, the King, Caldwell in the building. Infinite blessings to you, King. Always so happy to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Hold up, my counterpart? Yes, indeed. There he goes, the King Freedom's March. My counterpart is in the building. Infinite blessings to you, King. Brought a smile to my face seeing you in the building. Thank you so much for joining. Oh my goodness, hold on, you guys. I gotta relax a little bit because the more I scroll down, the more I'm seeing the family come through, and y'all already know how I get about my family. Salute to the King Patrice, one of my absolute favorites in the building this Sunday. He says, salute to the truth teller. She gonna tell it, okay? If no one else will, you already know how we step in. Yes, indeed. I intend to divulge quite a bit today. Hopefully we will get to that. You know what I'm saying? Get to as much as I want to divulge. There are a lot of moving parts in this situation, but I'm going to try to keep it central on we'll see how I approach it. Hopefully you enjoy the way, we tackle this today, because it's kind of touching upon, of course, the things that we've previously discussed, but I really wanted to pinpoint, really laser in to much of the dynamic that I see going on within boxing that I think is really very much a hindrance to the sport overall. Oh my goodness, California Love in New York is in the building. The number one King Insane. Salute to the King Insane. You already know what time it is, King. Thank you so much for joining. Happy New Year to you. And thank you so much for etching out a little bit of time to come chill with the goddess this Sunday. I appreciate you so much. Oh my God, hold on, my twin. Hey, twin. Hold up, you guys. My twin Daryl, where you been, King? Okay, the block been kind of empty. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking over here, looking over my shoulder. I'm like, hold on. Where's my twin been? Salute to the King. I hope everything is well with you. Maybe you've been doing some traveling or whatever have you, but it's so good to see my twin in the building. He says, salute to the beautiful queen, aka my twin Sugar Free. Salute to the rest of the kings and the queens in the chat. Twin, I'm complete now because my other half is here. My twin is here. Salute to you, twin. I hope all is well with you. Infinite blessings to you. You already know what it is. Salute to the king. Chris keeps it boxing on deck. He says, peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for that, Chris. It's a pleasure to see you. Always wonderful to have you. I'm getting excited scrolling through here. We got the King Ra Holman on deck. Salute to the King Ra. In the building. Thank you so much and Happy New Year to you if I didn't get to wish that to you the other day. Yes, King Freedom, the lovely counterpart. Yes, you know what time it is. Salute to the good family. I'm just scrolling through here. Oh my goodness, my Queen Mama Love is in the building. Hey, Queen Mama Love. Infinite blessings to you and Happy New Year to you as always. So big salute to the King Devo in the building. I see you guys making your way in. It's definitely appreciated. Let's see what I wanted to get into today, you guys. Kind of, a lot going on. Even though it's kind of like, I don't know. I guess we're all awaiting the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez fight. But in the interim of that, I guess there are some moving parts, of course, that are always at work. And, as we tend to do, peeping the scene, day to day, week to week, just kind of catching a vibe and getting a feel of all the things that are going on. Oh my goodness, hold on. We know we got to give the king the grand introduction. Salute to the king, Stephen X in the building. My brother, salute to the king, Stephen. Wonderful to see you. I see you just walked in. It says, peace and blessings, Queen SugarFreeMars. Always love and infinite blessings. Happy New Year. Thank you so much, King. Always coming in with the warmth and the wonderful energy. And I am extending that to you tenfold, King. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you and wonderful to see you. Oh, before we get into this, you guys, if I have a little bit of time, after I finish kind of, touching on these little things, these little parts, maybe I'll drop the link. I'm not sure how to do that really. I was trying to play around. I don't know if I literally just like put the URL in the link. I'm not really sure how that goes, but we'll see what happens. We'll try that out if we have a little bit of time, after our discussion to maybe, if you guys wanted to talk about anything. I figured like, since it's the new year, I don't know what you guys may have on your mind, or if you guys wanted to discuss maybe what you guys were looking forward to in the coming new year. So maybe we'll try that out. You guys let me know if you guys are interested in that. This will definitely be the first time I'm doing this. So we'll see how it works, right? We'll see how that goes. But I figure I may, and may as well extend the opportunity to get to speak to some good family who may have wanted to touch upon some things or expound upon some things that we discussed today. But anywho, you guys, interesting things going around here. But what, the most notable thing for me that is a constant, no matter what, fight season we are in, no matter what point of the year that we are in, no matter who has what scheduled bouts here or scheduled bouts there, the one thing that seems to be the constant for me, beautiful people, is that, motherfuckers are still out here scared to death, trembling in their boots about the young King Deebo. That's just one thing that is absolutely the constant, no matter who is being galvanized in this direction or incited in the other direction. The one thing that, regardless of the weight class or whatever have you, that is the constant. That is the one thing that is immovable and unchangeable, is the position that Devin Haney seems to hold within the boxing landscape. And to this notion, that is why I titled this the Deebo effect, because I think it really needs to be named at this point. It is so prevalent an issue that it ought to be named and defined. It ought to be explicated. You know what I mean? Like it can't just exist as if it's not there. No, we need to label it. We need to name it and really just give attention to what this thing is, because obviously it is such, a heavy subject, such a real, tangible thing that it has people diverting and moving and evading and obfuscating all across the board, you guys. Okay? It's very, very curious a situation to me. And for that reason, this is why I say the Deebo effect. And to me, the Deebo effect is probably, you know what I mean? The most inexplicable phenomena within this era of boxing. In fact, I posit that it is. It's absolutely, hands down, without question, the most inexplicable phenomena within the era of boxing. And nobody is really trying to talk about it like that on the mainstream. In fact, they do their best to suppress discussions and divert attention away from this phenomena. But the real ones who are already with it, who are already peeping game, are very much privy to this and have been for quite some time. Okay? Yes, Devo. You got all types of duckery going on, which we will get into, all types of things. Okay? It's absolutely insane. And we're going to definitely touch upon those types of aspects and get into the specifics, right? There is nothing more prevailing, nothing more withstanding, brothers and sisters. Nothing holding, such a level of incessancy than the cowardice that, seems to get incited within fighters, specifically when it comes to the young king. It's specifically here. It's not to say that these people, don't show these levels of, whatever, but it is at a different notch, a different level as it pertains to Devin Haney. It just gets up about 15 notches whenever young king is in the building, whenever it surrounds discussions of him and having to compete with him. It's crazy to me, you guys. And we need to talk about this. We need to be real about that. We need to talk about it. It needs as much light as possible, because left up to these motherfucking simping ass, outlets, they would rather you believe that this stuff isn't, real. You are, you're just looking at a mirage. It isn't anything tangible. It isn't anything substantive or concrete, when the reality is that there is no ignoring this. And I refuse to do so, especially here. This shit, we got to keep it real about what it is that we see. It's absolutely, hands down, amongst the most bizarre things that I have seen in boxing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I could really account for too many things that, can compare to this, to the Deebo effect. Deebo effect is motherfucking, I don't know what's going on, but this thing got people shook out here. Shook ones out here, yo. It's wild to me. And every time I sit back and gaze at this, I'm just absolutely dumbfounded and amazed. I have never seen so many men, supposed warriors, running straight for the goddamn hills as far away as they can from competition. It's absolutely dumbfounding to me. And what's also weird is that this is the man that they would love for the world to believe is pillow-fisted. Don't have nothing to offer. It's some type of, chump somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Has no valor, has no chin. He's chinny. He can't take a left hook. He got the pillow fist. You know what I'm saying? He's whack. You know what I mean? He don't come with no pressure. All the things that they say. And this the motherfucker that y'all are running from. Like your lives depended on it at the same time. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? If he was so easy work, what I can't fathom is why people will make easy work out of him if he is that much of a soft touch. If he's that much of a soft touch, you know what I'm saying? Clean your plate with this dude. As I say from, time to time. Clean your plate. Why is all of this food on your plate? Why is he allowed to become undisputed on people's turf? Why is he allowed to become three-weight champion on people's turf? Why is he allowed to remain, in a position of sovereignty? If he is such easy work, go ahead and go, you know what I'm saying? Go handle that. But the point is that they cannot do that. And so they are simply going to allow themselves then to be relegated to trying to castigate and berate him and to shit on his name and to disavow any attempts at his progress because they can't do it physically. They have to resort to verbiage. They have to resort to propagandizement and this, that, and the third, as we've covered here together many a times. Absolutely dumbfounding to me, brothers and sisters. I cannot wrap my mind around how it is that the young men of this boxing era are increasingly and ever pervasively claiming that they are elite. All the while, these motherfuckers are the most reluctant, hyper-selective, hypersensitive, disinclined group that I have ever seen in boxing. There's no era of boxing that trumps this energy for me. The most reluctant, hypersensitive, disinclined group of men I have ever seen in boxing. It's wild. But they all have the gall, the audacity to be standing on top of mountaintops trying to tell me that they are him. How dare these people, brothers and sisters? Him what? I don't see him. Very few of the ones with that could be given that title are out here on that type of time. Y'all ain't him. Y'all too busy running from him. Y'all too busy running from that nigga. This is absolutely one of the great mysteries for me. Right up there with the, it's right up there with the question, goddamn, on some Shakespeare shit. To be or goddamn not to be. That's how I am in the fucking boxing world. Except that it seems to me that in boxing, the inquiry should be updated to be him or not to be him, because that's what these niggas are wrestling with in their motherfucking minds. Should I be him or should I just proclaim to be him? Do I need to prove to be him or can I just write a fucking tweet that I am him? You get me? This crazy. 2026, I'm not stepping with that. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to support nothing on that type of time. I ain't never been, but most certainly now, I'm tired of that shit. It's corny, it's whack, and it's absolutely, deserving of being exposed for completely what it is. Cowardice. We got to call it what the fuck it is. It's nonsensical cowardice. Heartlessness. We're not going to sit around here and sugarcoat nothing. We want to see great boxing matches. We want to see a display of warriorship and valor. That's what we want. That's what we are here for. That's what we support. We want to look to our beautiful brothers. We want to look to our beautiful sisters and know that they step in 10 toes and know that they have our support in them achieving these goals and our backing. We do not want to support cowardice. So that we need to be honest about that at all times when it is that we see it. What's absolutely dumbfounding to me, which we will get into a little bit in our discussion, is that a lot of these platforms, the ones that end up landing these interviews with these particular fighters, do not hold these people accountable. Do not pose the hard questions, the ones that get to the centrality of the matter, the ones that shine a light and pose a query into the achievement or the supposed drive and attainment of legacy. They just sit there and let these people sit up there and talk all type of nonsense. And they are not held accountable for what the things that they say, which we will get into a little bit, which is the reason why this is, really kind of what, what made me want to shine a light and a focus on this particular subject today, right? Now, we have seen, for example, brothers and sisters, as the good King Devo pointed out about Rolly and whatever have you. We have also seen examples just taking from that, mind frame, Teofimo Lopez, who for nearly a decade, beautiful people, 7 or 8 years. Did I just see my sister? up in here. Oh, salute to the beautiful sis Rach in the building. Infinite blessings to the beautiful sister Rach. Salute to you, sis. I see you in the building. You know, we had Teofimo Lopez for nearly a decade. Let's say 7 or 8 years, something like that, right? Has been ducking and running for cover from the young king. I mean, unrelentingly, you guys, for all of this time, right? We had Lomachenko, who for years, as we know, opted to run for absolute cover for as long as he could, also from the young King Devin, right? But with him, thankfully, he had found the strength at some particular point to face his fears, right? And take on the challenge. Let's not forget, brothers and sisters, we got Red Light Special Davis out here who has been trapped in all goddamn types of closets. All right? Trapped in a goddamn closet, running for cover, locking himself up in everybody's attic, throwing away the goddamn key. Man don't want to be found. Man is trembling in his boots whenever it comes to the young King Devin, right? And then we got none other than Mr. Shakur Twitterson Stevenson, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. We're going to light a fire all the way up under that ass today, because apparently he is at the forefront of, veering off and steering clear out of view of accountability. For that reason, we're going to put the fire under that ass today on Mr. Twitterson Stevenson. Okay? Mr. Shakur Stevenson has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is all talk and no heart when it comes to Deebo, the King Haney. Period. Now, as I know a lot of Shakur fans ain't going to like that. You know what I mean? They're going to want to placate. They're going to want me to assuage, these notions of Shakur Stevenson, but I'm not having that. I don't care how long I had supported that man, in previous years. We have to call it for what it is. Not only did this man, Shakur Stevenson, duck the highest payday of his life, but he outrightly swerved clean out of view from the chance to become the undisputed lightweight champion of the world at that time in 23, simply because his cowardice would not let him step up to the challenge. It was his cowardice that was at work, brothers and sisters. I know the myriad excuses that he gave. I know all the cloaks that he tried to use in order to divert attention away from the reality. But the fact of the matter is that it was his cowardice that was disguised and augmented by the delusions that he held, right? That he had to, let's say, for example, be offered something of equivalence to that of Devin Haney, as if he was a champion, as if he was bringing a belt to the table. His cowardice made him have all types of delusions of grandeur, in other words, when it came to Devin. So it made it seem like he wanted more money, but what he really wanted to do, ladies and gentlemen, was to be left at the table alone so that he can get out of that particular fight. I don't care what nobody goddamn say. Ain't no way in goddamn hell this man is going to go in there and try to superimpose the idea that he should be given 50-50 to fight the undisputed champion, having no belts or anything else to offer to the table, yet thinking that he can go in and posture as if he is worthy of demanding a 50-50 split with the undisputed champion. It's just diabolical to me every time. This man's dement led him to demanding higher percentages, with the splits, and also to feel entitled, so entitled that one would have thought that he would at least had one goddamn belt to present to goddamn Devin. The way he was carrying on pompously at that particular time when he was given the offers, multiple offers, by the way. Now, like I said, I know all the man fans, for years, they've been trying to, coddle this man. They have been trying to cosset and assuage, vehemently, any notion, of this man's wrongdoing, trying to, cloak it and, try to, put sugar on it. No. And they have also for years been sitting around trying to make all types of justifications for that man's movements. But there are simply no justifications to be made here, ladies and gentlemen. It is forever etched in stone. That Shakur Stevenson ducked undisputed. That is it. It is forever etched in stone. Nothing can bypass that reality of what he did and the crazy, crazy decision that he made to, completely escape from his own opportunity, the biggest opportunity of his career. How is it that all of these fighters are so alacritous in their boastings of, being among the elite, yet none of them are out here stepping on that type of time? Very few of them are. Why is it that everybody wants to wrap their lips, around the idea, or I'm him and I'm the best and nobody can beat me, but nobody is stepping like that. And you know what else came to mind, brothers and sisters? Lomachenko and Kambosos made the attempt as far as it came to Devin Haney, right? These are the two men who took the challenge at that particular time, right? We could even add Brian Norman in there, who rose to the occasion. Brian Norman even took a chance, right? And let's look at Loma and Kambosos. They fought Devin for undisputed at that particular time at lightweight, brothers and sisters. Did they not? Did they not? A lot of people out here, as far as Kambosos is concerned, of course, Lomachenko gets a lot more grace, right? But as far as Kambosos, so many people are out here, thinking that it's an opportune, thing, opportune time, at any particular time to disavow, his skills, disavow his resume or whatever have you. Kambosos is about that fucking business. He done fought more motherfucking killers than all of these people. These, motherfuckers are out here glazing. But they want to shit on Kambosos. Kambosos went in the ring and fought 24 motherfucking rounds with the young thing. He can say that where no one else can. This motherfucker is the only one, who has, basically three of the top guys, on his resume, George Kambosos, as far as that division, right? And it goes without saying that Loma was on that type of time and he was that dude, in the years leading up to, of course, his eventual retirement, right? Yes, Lomachenko ducked. We can vouch for that. But ultimately, Lomachenko rose to the challenge and he took on the fight with Devin Haney. How many other people can say that? These people are trying to call themselves the best. They're not even making the attempt. They're even making the attempt, brothers and sisters. But you got the gall to sit out here and talk about Kambosos ain't shit. It's the fucking Twilight Zone out here. He not only did it, but he did it twice. You got to give that man credit for that shit. And he went in there with Loma. And he went in there with Tio and put the beats on goddamn Tio. Excuse me? What the fuck are their favorites doing? But trembling in their damn boots under somebody's goddamn mattress, shaking, scared to get in the ring with Dev. It's crazy to me. So that these men have been in there with the elite, in other words. Where the fuck is Shakur Stevenson at with the elite? Come January 31st, that is his first real attempt. This will be his first marker, as I have said previously in previous discussions. Teofimo Lopez is his first marker. He is very much in the proving grounds, right? And whatever happens, in his success or otherwise, will be a testament to that. Where is he at? Where has he been at prior to this particular moment against Teofimo Lopez coming up in the few weeks? Where the fuck is Tank at? Where are the elites on his resume? No goddamn where to be found, right? Not the ones that we have been calling for. So that these men cannot exist in that particular conversation of elite warriorship, brothers and sisters, not even minutely when we consider it from that particular juncture. How is this happening? Yet we are deeming those men to be elite. It's a conversation that I am constantly swarming around and orbiting. because no one has explicated to me the logic behind their reasoning in, jumping to deem these people elite prior to them proving it. Right? So that I am saying there is nothing wrong with having an affinity towards a particular fighter. There is no problem in believing that they may possess something. But we must bring, in addition to that belief, in addition to that level of praise and really an appraisal of their potential, right? What needs to be augmented to that is the demand that it is represented. It can't merely be dreamed about. It has to be represented. It has to be realized, in other words. How is it that there isn't more pressure applied to that overall, is what I have an issue with in boxing. How is it that these pressures are not, applied by the fighters themselves to their own alleged pursuits? If this is your pursuit, where is your passion behind it? I see no vehemence. And what's most appalling to me, brothers and sisters, about Shakur Stevenson particularly, and the dudes out here on this type of chump time, is that they masquerade around as if making an impact within the sport is of paramount importance to them. That's the issue that I have, because I don't understand that. Why are you out here pump faking as if it's of paramount importance that you have legacy, that you make an impact, and that you showcase yourself, when that's not the reality of your actions? Okay? So that, in other words, brothers and sisters, they are posing under the guise of the attainment of legacy. They're posing under the guise of the attainment of legacy, right? For example, they are out here, quoting greats, right? Quoting all the greats. Oh, I'm the best ever. You know what I'm saying? I'm the best of my era. I'm him. You know what I'm saying? They say all the names of their top GOATs of all time in boxing. They go around mimicking the swag of the legends and stuff like that. All this, that, and the third, right? Yet as soon as the public begins to surmise that these men ought to display the potentiality that we believe them to hold, right? As soon as we show that we want to support the exemplification of that particular claim that they have, that they are the best of that era, all of a sudden, as soon as we apply that pressure, it's us who are the ones that are made to seem as if we are castigating them and throwing stones, simply because we want to support what the fuck you say. You telling me you the best ever. You're telling me you're trying to take over your era. How the fuck does that work, that I am now hating on you? Because I want to support your greatness. I want to support your ventures. I want to be vested in the materialization of what you say you want. Facts or no? It's crazy to me. So that, in other words, there is a preference for merely the grandiloquence. They have a preference for grandiloquence, brothers and sisters, for verbosity and rhetoric. They want to talk about it, in other words. They have a preference for simply the rhetoric alone. That is the point of comfortability that I am peeping on the scene from a lot of these fighters of that particular mentality. They are comfortable saying it. They have a discomfort with action, putting into action the things that they say. It's dumbfounding to me. They are uncomfortable with action. They are uncomfortable within things that demand that they give heart in exchange for the credence and the merit that they want to assume prematurely. But the crazy thing is that, there is a need, even though that there is this, dissatisfaction with, or a sense of discomfort with action, even though they have that type of energy, they still want all of the accreditation that can be thrown at them. Ain't that some shit? It's crazy to me that they still allege greatness, even though they know they have no intention on getting out there and earning it. Even though the moves are cowardly, they want to allege greatness. How is that? Or else, if they don't do that, oh, I want to be good. So they'll say all the sweet things. They'll put all the sugar, sprinkle all types of sugar, all types of caramel on that shit, right? Because they have to. Otherwise, they know that they will be disposed of in the sport if they do not say things like, oh, okay, I want to be the best, or I'm the best, or I'm him, I'm the king of the hill. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is on my level and stuff like that. They know that they have to say those choice words, those placating words, because if they do not, people are going to be like, all right, well, fuck you then. I'm going to go over here with the person that's stepping 10 toes. So that it is a game of subterfuge. In other words, brothers and sisters, contrived deceit. They want to give you the mirage so that they can have your backing, so that they can have your dollars, so that they can have asses and seats as much as they can. So that the mirage, the facade, is necessary for them to use as a cloak for their frailty. We got to call it for what it is. That's why we hear, these types of claims on the mountaintop. We see these people beating their chest about how nobody's above them and how they're him and stuff like that, only for their moves and decisions to evince otherwise. The moves and decisions showcase and evince otherwise, brothers and sisters, despite what it is that they're saying on the mountaintop. Your moves will inevitably expose what the reality is of the intention. You don't have to say too much when you're on that type of time. You out there getting it. Devin don't got to motherfucking say 1,000 goddamn times an hour how great he is. He's too busy goddamn getting it from the goddamn mud out here. He's too busy calling for the heads of all these supposed people who you think are him. He's too busy saying, where the fuck is he at? Sign me up. I'm available. Meet me here. He's too busy getting on his bike, circling blocks for these niggas. That's why you don't see him, channel hopping, motherfucking interview hopping, making all of these crazy ass claims about how great he is, instead of actually getting out there and proving he ain't got no time for the talking. He's out there getting that work done. These people want to assume the accolades. They want to assume the accreditation. They want to assume a level of reverence that's associated with greatness, like people who actually proven their valor. But they want to do that without having to earn their rights, without having to be battle tested among the elite. But they want the accreditation that comes from passing through the fire. But they don't want to pass through that shit themselves. They want the effulgence of the light. They want the gleam. They want the shine and the glow from the light that a fire gives, but they don't want the heat that accompanies it. They just want the shine. In other words, brothers and sisters, you cannot fucking pick and choose. This is all or nothing over here. In this beautiful sport that we love, ladies and gentlemen, all or nothing. You don't get the light of a fire without the heat from the fire. All or nothing. And it's absolutely atrocious to me how prevalent this frail mentality seems to be among, a hand-selected few of these dudes. And it's crazy to me also that there are fans and media outlets alike who cuss at and assuage these particular delusions and allow for this level of cowardice to be exemplified. It's diabolical to me. Let me check in with the good people. I see you guys talking. Salute to anybody that I may have missed. Yes, comrade. Real talk. We got to talk about it. We really do. My twin says they can't spell accountable. Use smaller, simple words for the short bus kids. I mean, it's wild out here, twin. The King Ross says the only interviews, they only do interviews with certain people for a reason. Absolutely. Absolutely, because they know that that level of accountability will not be held, in front of their faces. They will be allowed to skate by, skate beyond, the real central issues that a lot of real hardcore boxing fans find worthy of discussion. They will, divert away from that as much as they can. They will avert from it. And so these people that they get up there with on these particular outlets will allow for the room for their escape. They will provide them an easy out when they should be asking them, what is it that you intend to do? What is your plan? What is your end goal? Where do you see yourself as? And when they give those fluff answers like, oh, I want to be the best, I want to retire, I want to go to the Hall of Fame and this, that, and the third, it's like, okay, well, how the fuck are you going to get that fighting a goddamn Patley? How the fuck are you going to get that fighting a goddamn who's that dude? What's his name for it? A goddamn, or even though that was a replacement, but how are you going to get that fight in these nobodies? How are you going to do that not raising your level of competition? It's just not going to happen. At some point, you have to get in there with the best if you are deeming yourself to be of that particular making. You cannot do that fighting in subpar environments with subpar competition in front of you. You have to get in the middle of the battlefield with the best. You just must do that in boxing. And it's crazy to me that in a sport of such valor and honor, that we are currently in a generation where people are recoiling from that. It's just crazy to me how everything is flipped upside down. Where we come from, among the greats, the beautiful brothers who paved the way, up until recent times, let's say the past 10 years or whatever have you, right? Mayweather era and stuff like that. And prior to that, it's like, we had people that had to showcase, who they were in due battle. They had to do that. And we still had questions that we piled on top of them, even while they were showing improving in real time, because there are always a surrounding body of people, who you want your favorite fighters to fight, a lot of talent, right? In the pool, right? And so that some people get missed, some fights get left out, some things get, swept under the rug due to politics or whatever have you. So that we still had a lot of questions that we were throwing, even on people like Mayweather, even on people like Roy Jones, even on people like Holyfield, in his time. And we can go back and back and back, right? Right? But there were still people that they were in the thick of it with. You can't fight every single body, right? But there are certainly a pool of people. There are certainly some indisposable, people on the list that are just absolutely necessary to get in the ring with. And those people of the time, to the best of their ability, did that, despite the politics or everything else that may have gotten in the way. That they were still the people that they had to fight. What where is the standard? Where is the push and the demand of these new fighters? It's crazy. It's a very weird era. And every time I sit and ponder about that, I'm absolutely befuddled. I do not get it, brothers and sisters. I really don't. Now, let's get into this. As far as Shakur Stevenson is concerned, how many times have we heard him gasconade about how he is the best fighter in the world, quote unquote, right? We've heard it since, him coming out of the amateurs and turning pro, right? I'm the next Floyd Mayweather. I'm the next, Sugar Ray Robinson. I'm the next blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make my mark and things like that, right? We have heard him say that, right? And he won a lot of us over, with that type of heart, because we believed, yes, we see a talent in you. Yes, that means he is in salutation of the great men who did it before him. He's bearing their names. He's saying that he wants to do it like them and push his own energy into claiming his era, right? And so we wrapped around the likes of Shakur Stevenson on his come up, and we looked forward to him exemplifying the level of greatness that he says that he respected and admired of the men who had laid the foundation for him, right? Well, brothers and sisters, let's keep it a fucking buck, okay? If this man thinks so highly of himself, and I'm talking about himself, this is outside of the context or the parameters of fanfare or outside support or influence or whatever have you. Just him. If he thinks so highly of himself, why is it that he incessantly posits that a fight with Devin Haney being made is such an impossible feat? Why is this the most, trying, insurmountable task on the earth to Shakur Stevenson, making a fight with Devin Haney? Why does this man blow it up to such outstanding, outrageous proportions that a fight with Devin be materialized? Why is that such an impossible feat for this man? Such that he has to make all types of excuses and cop-outs and pleas and crazy ass explanations or whatever have you. What is going on? If he thinks so highly of himself, they really do say everything except let's fight, as Haney always says. Everything except let's goddamn fight. Where's the rehydration clause? Ain't let's make the fight happen. Oh, I'm too small is not saying let's make the fight happen. Oh, I'd rather fight Conor Benn is not saying let's make the fight goddamn happen. Everything this man says is the antithesis of smoke with Devin. Moreover, brothers and sisters, if such was the case, that he really did believe that he is the best fighter in the world and what have you, why has he continually made it a point to remain, in association with Devin without actually having fought him? What's the point of keeping a close association with Devin Haney if he has no intentions of fighting him? I don't get it. I have a lot of questions about that. Why do you need to remain in association with Devin if you don't want to fight him? Why doesn't he opt out of speaking, overall about Devin Haney altogether if he has no intentions on fighting him, brothers and sisters? If he's coming up with all types of excuses to not fight him, why are you even speaking about Devin Haney on platforms? I don't give a fuck what these people ask you. Say next, move on. I plead the motherfucking fifth. F-I-F, fifth. Just say you plead the motherfucking fifth when it comes to Devin Haney. If that's the case, if all you're going to do is make up all types of excuses to not fight him, all types of excuses to allow for the evading of that man, don't talk about him. Because he most certainly can do that. That is an option, brothers and sisters, but he does not do that. Instead, what he does is cap, like he'd entertained the fight, only to turn around and add every limitation that you can conceive of to thwart his own goddamn projection. You are projecting that you would fight Devin. Yeah, I want to fight all of these guys, is what he says. Yeah, I'll fight all of these dudes because I believe in my skills and weights don't matter. These are the things he's saying in one breath, only to completely contradict everything he says in the next. If you are thinking about a rehydration clause against the young king, a man who fought in your weight class barely 3 years ago, right? Something like 3 years ago, Devin was just at his weight class at 35. If you're talking about putting a rehydration clause on a man who fought in your weight class, you do not want to fight him. Just keep it a buck. Stop the motherfucking capping. Just go on about your life, go on about your business. I ain't got no problem with that. But the capping is preposterous to me, making it seem as if if the opportunity presented itself, you would haul ass and run to it. Brothers and sisters, the man just ducked that man when Devin was at 135. Didn't I not say he just ducked on goddamn Undisputed? So that when Devin was on your turf and saying, what's popping, you ducked. You ducked then. So you certainly ain't got no goddamn heart all of a sudden to fight him now. Why the fuck is he out here capping? Oh, I fight these guys. Yeah, I do this, I do that. But oh, let me throw in the fact that he has to, have a rehydration clause because I am so tiny, baby. Oh, my waist is so small. I could barely get over 135. 136 is a stretch for me, y'all. I'm so small. Did you see how small this little waist is, child? That's how he sounded like to me out here. All of a sudden, he's so small. But we will touch on that in just a second, right? The capping is crazy to me, but because he needs a lifeline, in my view, brothers and sisters, Shakur Stevenson will pander to the palate of the hardcore boxing community. He will pander to the palate of that because he knows that us real ones in the building today, beautiful brothers and sisters, want to see that fight and have been clamoring for that fight for I don't know how many goddamn years. That's a fight. That's one of the central fights in all of boxing is to see the young King Devin against Shakur Stevenson. He knows that. And so he will placate. He will placate our notion of that because he is very well informed about that being, a very premier event in the entire sport. We have been anxiously calling for that fight between he and Young King for goodness knows how long. He will bleed the notion for as long as he can, so long as it maintains hope and relevance in people's minds and hearts. You know why? Because that will keep people talking about him. We will always be on the edges of our seats, so long as he is assuming that he is, shining a little bit of light on the possibility of that fight. We will always be yearning for that. We will always follow the breadcrumbs to that fight so long as he gives an inclination that he is interested in it. We already know Devin is, right? But so long as Shakur Stevenson, provides a glimmer of hope that, oh, maybe this such a, he will always have people eating out the palms of his hands due to the possibility or the hope for that to materialize at some point. He knows very good and goddamn well that this, he ain't got no goddamn intentions of fighting no goddamn Devin. That's the long and short of it, brothers and sisters. The man has no intention whatever on fighting Devin. That is my posit today. He will be forever circuitous about it because he has no intention or desire for it to be materialized. He will always circle around the notion of it, though. He will always skate around it. That's the bottom line, brothers and sisters. He is absolutely and unfoundedly in that regard, in likeness to Purple Pain Davis when it comes to that. And by that, I mean, he has literally no desire to fight Devin, just like Purple Pain Davis has no desire to fight Devin. They are one and the same in that respect, on that particular stance. That's the one thing that they do agree on, that they don't want no fucking parts of the young King Deebo. How is it that these fighters can gasconade and boast all across social media and whatever outlets will allow for them to talk that nonsense? How could they go on and on and on about how they are that guy, quote unquote, yet have no intention on competing with the most premier young fighter in the sport today, aside for themselves? How is it that you can call yourself or allege yourself of, an elite stature, and you are not looking at that beautiful brother Devin and saying, yo, let's get it, and have every intention to actually do that? Not to simply clap, sit comfortably on your couch and clout chase, but to actually get the business done. It doesn't make sense how you could suppose such a status for yourself and to attempt to have such a posture and not have an intention on fighting somebody so elite, somebody so premier, as Devin. You should be running towards that man at every goddamn option and availability there is to do that. As soon as he has an availability and an opening, you should be calling for smoke. That man should not be, sleeping peacefully. You should be beating his goddamn door down with every intention on surpassing him. That should be the object and the focus, ladies and gentlemen. Am I tripping or not? He should be food. He should have no rest. Young King, is out here, riding, circling blocks on his bike like la-di-da-di-da-di-da. Who the fuck doors, I'm going to kick down today? Just peaceful as he want to be because he's applying the pressure to you pussies. Where's your pressure, back to him? Y'all ain't got no smoke for this man? That's why he's Deebo. Because he fucking taking all y'all niggas' chains. Hence today's meme. I couldn't fit every fighter on there, in this particular meme with whose chains he's snatching. But he's snatching all of these niggas' chains out here. He's snatching the chains of the entire boxing world out here. That's the type of time DHP is on. And you punks are just sitting there letting that shit happen. But you want to tell me how, this is your era and you're him and this is your, you're the one and you're that guy? What the fuck? How is Deebo allowed to ride his bike so freely on your motherfucking block if that's the case? It just does not make sense. The logic is not logicking. Moreover, how can these people think themselves to be the best when every move they make, every statement made, every bit of logic expounding upon, the notion of their being the best is nothing but a dissuasion from the actuality of proving that you're the best of your class. Everything that you say is dissuading from that. How the fuck are you the best? If every attempt that you make, every output that you have is in contrast to having to prove that. Makes no sense at all, brothers and sisters. Just come out and say that you don't want to fight this man. Stop making these, delusions. Stop painting these, illustrious pictures, these lies and these crazy ass, justifications and, this has to be in place in order for me to do this. Or, Jupiter has to be in the constellation of Gemini in order for me to fight this nigga type. I don't give a fuck. What you talking about? This nigga's literally said when the stars align, brothers and sisters. What? What is going on? What is going on? Just say you don't want no goddamn problems with that man and go on about your goddamn life. And that way, the boxing world could actually know where to put your ass. It's weird to me. I just don't know why this man is making, this whole thing such a tumultuous process. He's kind of crashing out now because a lot of the weight is being placed on him. A lot of people saying, okay, Core, you looking hella goddamn contradictory out here, bro, because what you said here does not align. Talking about stars aligning, your motherfucking words don't align, nigga. How about you get that shit in control? And we could worry about, if Jupiter's going to be in Gemini or Leo or Cancer today. Worry about your motherfucking words. Get that shit aligned and in order. Because you're looking hella sus, hella fickle out here, hella unreliable and inconsistent out here. People are simply listening to what you're saying. They are simply taking note of your words. And they are also sitting in the sidelines as supporters of you, real talk, even though it may feel like people are coming down heavy on you. But that they have a vested interest in your potential, a vested interest in your growth. And we would like to see you up there one day, in the history books. But you certainly will not get there simply by gascinating about it, simply by pompously, writing tweets about how, legendary you think that you are, nigga. You get your legend by proving what you got in real time. It's a tumultuous process that he is making for himself. Just keep it a stack that you don't want nothing to do with the young king going about your life, like I said. In other words, I think that he is wasting time. I think that he is wasting time. And I think that I had mentioned previously that, I just don't find it worthy of giving him the level of vehement support that I had in previous years at this particular point, because he is in a complete deficit for me. He is in a complete state of deficit for me as far as showing, improving, and he has a lot. It's not that he cannot reclaim his spot. It's not like he doesn't have the potential to, completely prove me wrong. I would like to be proven wrong. You know what I mean? But I will not give anybody the benefit of any goddamn doubt. Show me what it is, and then I could properly, label you. I can properly place you. You understand? Let me check in with the good family really quickly before I move in, because I did want to get into an excerpt, it was a few little clips that I saw of another interview that I had not come across previous to last week. I didn't know that he did this particular interview. I kind of stopped at the Breakfast Club interview, but I came across a few clips of an alternate interview that he did that I wanted to just get your thoughts on, if I can, really quickly. Salute to the intelligent savage. I see you in the building. I'm just checking with the brothers and sisters. The intelligent one, blessings to you. Happy New Year, King. He says, salute Queen SugarFreeMars. Smash the like button, people, and share the content. Yes, thank you, King, for reminding me. Smash the like button, you guys. You guys know I tend to forget to do that when I'm cooking. Salute to the King Blaze in the building. He says those sparring tapes against Shakur and Dev are legendary. Yes, that's a legendary sparring session that they had all those years ago. It was wonderful to see that. I definitely enjoyed that. But they were essentially, babies then. It's like, okay, let's get it popping. Let's get the fight made so we could see a real fight between these kings. Or I should say, but that's why I can't, I don't know, you guys. This fight, I would, even though I'm not as staunchly a supporter of Shakur Stevenson as I once was because of his refusal, to claim space and to prove his level of stature, it's absolutely goes without saying, that I think like he has the potential to be a very notable and prominent aspect in the sport. He has the potential. He has all the potential to do that. I think that he has a wonderful style, and I would like to see him excel and go beyond, where he's been. You know what I mean? But his refusal to do that is making me refuse, to be as staunchly vehement about his path and his journey. I don't want to sit back and look at those goddamn sparring tapes and drool about how legendary them fighting each other at goddamn 15, 16 years old was. I want to see them niggas get it popping now. That's what I want to see. I want to see championship on the line. I want to see the claiming of supremacy today. I don't give a damn about them sparring as children. It means nothing to me. That shit is up in smoke. I want to see some valor, and I want to see some supremacy between these brothers and all of these brothers. You know what I mean? Salute to the real Shelton in the building. Thank you so much for the love in the super chat. He says, that's my bike, punk. Yeah, facts. That's that, you know what I mean? That's exactly how Deebo was out here. That's why I got Deebo in the meme, in the background. You know what I'm saying? Riding his bike, because he's just rolling up on all these motherfuckers, taking people's chain, taking people's goddamn cookies, taking people's damn lunch money out here. It's like, damn, y'all ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna retaliate at all. You just gonna let Deebo out here, you know what I'm saying, come up and roll up on you like that? In your mama's house, walking in, getting some milk and making some goddamn scrambled eggs in the morning in your mama's house, not wiping his goddamn feet. It's like, what is going on here? Y'all got to have some type of pushback for this man. You know what I mean? Especially if y'all want to convince the world of how, how much of a sucker he is, apparently, that he's not on any type of demon time. He's not a powerful fighter or anything. All these things that they like to say about the young king. Come on. How is he able to walk up on you like that if that's the case? Why are you motherfuckers tucking your chains in every time he passed the block? It's crazy. So regarding this interview, brothers and sisters, because this is kind of what prompted my need to discuss this and kind of centralize this particular theme about Devin Haney and just the fear about the proximity to greatnit's, right? I think like the Deebo effect, a part of the Deebo effect is like, yes, he has people ducking for cover and he's up here snatching people's chains and it's exposing a level of cowardice in the sport. And I think the offshoot of that is, and the byproduct of that is that what is really being displayed in the people's response to the Deebo effect is that what's really doing is showing that boxing has a refusal to be in proximity to greatness. There is a refusal to be in proximity to merit and honor and valor. That's what's happening via this Deebo effect. The Deebo effect is, absolutely showing in so many different ways that boxing is in a state of stagnancy where there is a refusal to claim greatness. They are recoiling from the showing of heart, the showing of merit, and the attainment of championship. That's what's really being exposed. And I think a lot of what I was watching with the Shakur Stevenson interview absolutely evinced that for me without question, right? And in this interview that I came across, I forget the name of the show that it was on. I forget the name of that podcast, but you guys can probably, just type in, his name in YouTube, and I'm sure it'll pop up, this particular interview. Happened not too long ago. I want to say maybe over a week ago, I want to say, but I was just made privy to this. But, in that interview, I came across Shakur Stevenson, brothers and sisters, this man once again was throwing forks in his own road, in his own alleged call for smoke. He is thwarting his own motherfucking smoke alarm, brothers and sisters. And I'm like, how is this? This man wants to sit there and try to convince the world that he is on demon time. But everything that he says, is inadvertently showcasing the complete opposite of what it is that he is trying to convince you, that he is about. It's crazy to me. Crazy to me. He's just, sit up there just capping saying, oh, well, I would fight Devin, but you see what had happened was, if I wasn't so small, if this waist wasn't so tiny, baby, maybe the stars would have aligned. It's like, what? What are you talking about? He has every excuse possible on deck and ready-made for him to use in order to escape the smoke with Devin. I'm like, the fuck is this? I'm just sitting there just amazed, beautiful people. Real talk, Shakur Stevenson is hastily becoming the most fickle, the most capricious, fighter in boxing to me at this particular point. He is definitely climbing up there in the ranks for me. Okay? He is definitely climbing up there. Right up there with goddamn Rolly, right up there with goddamn. He is up there for me. Definitely top 3. And he's hastily moving up as we speak. Now that I consider this particular interview added in to a catalog of fucking cappery and evasion that he already has. It's crazy, you guys. 1 minute, he's the best thing smoking. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm so skilled. I'm so skilled that weight don't even matter. I'm so skilled that I can fight at the higher weight classes and it won't matter. And I don't need this rehydration clause. I don't need that rehydration clause. I'm ready to fight, Conor Ben at 160. That's what he's saying in one breath. And then the next goddamn breath, this man saying, I'm barely 126 pounder, you guys. I am so petite and so delicate. You got to be careful how you handle me. This is what he's saying, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy. Like, I'm just sitting there watching that interview and I'm just like, what? You got to be careful how you handle Shakur Stevenson, darling, because he's barely 126. He is such a petite little thing. You got to handle him with grace, honey. Okay? Touch him softly. Talk to him softly. You know what I mean? It's wild. This is exactly why I call Purple Pain Davis Purple Pain Davis. And that's actually why I call him Red Light Special Davis, right? Because of, this handle me with care logic, talk to me nice. It's like, what? What are you talking about? You barely 126. Since the fuck when? Since when? Have you guys seen that man standing next to Bud? Have you seen older pictures of him standing next to Devin? Ain't much of a goddamn difference, brothers and sisters. It's crazy. I'm barely a 126 pounder is what he said. I was just, you can't, I just couldn't, you couldn't pay me to be more surprised sitting down watching this particular interview. So now everybody is bigger than him. Out of no goddamn where. Everybody is bigger than him all of a sudden. And by everyone, I mean, he's referring to Devin Haney because that is why he's trying to, use the umbrella term to, victimize. Oh, everybody is bigger than me. But what that everybody is really referring to and denoting, brothers and sisters, is Devin Haney, right? This is his excuse to say why he does not want to fight Devin. Because he is saying without saying, Devin is too big for him. What was additionally ridiculous here in that particular interview was that he tried to use an example. Did you guys see this particular part? He tried to use an example of the Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn fight, basically as justification for, the implementation of a rehydration clause. So he's trying to use this as an example to justify using a rehydration clause if he were to fight Devin. This is him trying to cover his ass. But what he ended up doing, brothers and sisters, in using that particular frail ass example was to further expose how the rehydration clause is of an absolute detriment to the fighter that it's used to suppress. That's what he did inadvertently. So he's trying to make a justification for the rehydration clause. But his excuse further exposed his fucking cowardice, brothers and sisters, because he makes an admission that the rehydration clause leaves the fighter at a detriment. It was wild watching that. He admitted that Eubank looked, quote unquote, dead in that rematch, brothers and sisters, because of the rehydration clause. He made an admission. This is the quote, just to further paint that picture for the good people. This is what Shakur says. He says, quote, I'm going all the way up to 147, and I'm not even a real 147 pounder. I'm nowhere near that. Like, the guys at 47, they walk around 25 to 30 pounds bigger than me. If I'm going to fight them, just like, you watch Conor Benn, nobody had a problem when Conor Benn just whooped Chris Eubank's ass. And when he whooped his ass, you could clearly see that fighter was dead. End quote, you guys. So this is Shakur Stevenson. You could clearly see that fighter was dead when when Conor Benn whooped Chris's ass. Dead meaning depleted and just not there and not 100% whatsoever. So, brothers and sisters, what is Shakur really saying here? Let's divulge, shall we? Let's divulge a little bit. What Shakur Stevenson is really saying, brothers and sisters, is that he'd rather fight a Devin Haney that is barely operable in a fight. Is that what this man is saying? You tell me. You tell me your thoughts, brothers and sisters. What else could this man be saying in trying to use the example of Conor Benn, Chris Eubank, and Chris Eubank Jr. looking, quote unquote, dead, according to him? And of course, Chris Eubank looking depleted and deficient because he had the rehydration clause imposed upon him by Conor Benn, which is the same rehydration clause that he is saying that he would impose upon Devin if they were to fight. If it were a possibility that they would fight, he would demand a rehydration clause. So that if Chris Eubank Jr. looked dead, and depleted, that means you would want to fight Devin in the same condition of deficiency. Facts or no, brothers and sisters? You want him to be completely depleted, completely inadequate, and made frail so that you can face him? That is that supposed to be something of valor, brothers and sisters? You tell me. You want that man, Devin, in a deficient state in order for you to climb into that ring with him? This is why I said, just say you don't want to fucking fight that man. Just say you don't want to fight him. How is it that as an onlooker, brothers and sisters, somebody who had long supported this man, how am I supposed to look to that man making such a blatant statement as that? And then thinking that this man is an elite fighter as far as how he postures himself to be. Oh, I can beat Devin. I can beat such and such. I can beat such and such. It's like, okay, I'm not saying that you can't, but when you are making an admission that you want to deplete a man so that you can have an opportunity to beat them, how the fuck is that elite? If you have to put them in a position of deficit in order to claim supremacy over them. Do you understand? How is that honorable, brothers and sisters? Is a real warrior not supposed to want to beat their competition at their best? I got to make sure that you are down on your knees so that I can feel better. Or do I want you standing up so that when I take off your head, I'm looking you in the eye when I'm fucking heading you? There's levels to this shit, brothers and sisters. When you are ironclad, you want your opponent at their best. Because that is the victory, is that I conquered you at your best, at your most optimal. And I defeated you at your most optimal state. Why the fuck would I want you depleted and inadequate? Why would I want your frailty on the battlefield with me? If I'm here to conquer you, I don't conquer your frailty. I make your valor frail. That's what happens when your energy meets mine. My valor supersedes yours. That is my conquering of you. You grovel because I made you, not because you were deficient. I trumped you. There's levels to the mentality, brothers and sisters, if you guys get my drift. Your submission was only had because I demanded it. Not because you were insufficient or invalid as an opponent. You were absolutely worthy. I just made you submit to me. Big difference in language, brothers and sisters. This man, Shakur, is saying the opposite of that. This man is saying, I want you counterfeit. I want you half-hearted. I want an incomplete version of you so that I can be confident enough to get in there with you. And only by that and through those means can I claim supremacy, is if you are half of yourself. Where the fuck is that valor, brothers and sisters? I mean, you really can't make this stuff up. And he does not know what he is saying. This man, Shakur Stevenson, in his statements, have explicated to me, that he has absolutely no perception whatever, absolutely no consciousness whatever about the things that he says. He simply just speaks. He is not processing what it is that he is saying. And he is not taking into account how his words are painting the perception around him. He is simply complaining that people are making up their minds about what he is saying. He is not readily processing what he is saying. He is not at all intelligible in his thoughts. He is now blaming other people for calling out his inconsistencies and the disparities of his statements. But he is failing to realize that he has stated so many contradictory statements, you guys, over a period of goddamn time, that it's crazy. And that, he is simply being forced at this particular point by the cognizant boxing community. He is being forced in a corner and being made to deal with the things that he is saying. And that is what he does not like, because in this particular interview, he boasted about, oh, well, these people are just on my dick. They just out here talking, and they just want to make it seem like I'm saying contradictory things. No, nigga, you are saying crazy things all the goddamn time. And we are simply saying, look, remember this? Look at this fucking receipt. Look at that fucking receipt. You remember you said this, nigga? The fuck happened to that? 1 minute you saying a rehydration clause is for pussies. Next minute you're demanding that, Devin Haney needs a rehydration clause, as if you can posture, and pose, that, he have a rehydration clause, even though he's the motherfucking champion. If you were to go to 147, who the hell are you? First of all, to think that you would have, any leeway to do that. The pompousness is crazy. The dement, the delusions, the entitlement is absolutely crazy. And it has been allowed to continue on for so long that this man cannot even see, because he has been cosseted all of this time. He cannot even see what it is that he is saying. He cannot see the effect of, these crazy ass justifications, what effect they have, on the people that would like to be more readily available to support him, but are just simply saying, not that we don't want to be, but it's like, yo, you cannot do it, in this particular way. You know what I mean? Because you are the same person that is standing on top of the mountaintop telling me how you're the best. Next minute, you telling me that you only, have a shred of confidence and courage to get in there with Devin if he is made deficient. Crazy work to me, you guys. And he is being asked these questions, as aforementioned, on platforms. I believe that was Rahulman that mentioned that, that do not have a level of accountability to bring to the table. That will not hold the fire of accountability to him. He is being prodded, by these podcasters or whatever outlets these are, to ask particular questions and to veer as far away from, the real dialogue at hand as much as possible. And the public isn't trying to castigate him. At least people not like me and the real ones, the real brothers and sisters in the building who have these similar questions. We are not prodding him because we don't like him or that we don't want to see his potential. We are prodding because, we are vested in his potential to whatever capacity or degree or another. That's the reason. If nobody saw the latent talent or potential in that man, or people like him who we consider to be of some type of worth and who can stake claim to the future of the sport of boxing, right? If we do not believe in that latent potential, brothers and sisters, or the likeness of the ability to be of elite stature at some particular point, nobody would be checking for him. Facts or no? Nobody would be having think pieces and discussions about that man. Nobody would be trying to see about you at all. Your name would not be uttered anywhere in these boxing streets among diehards at all at any particular time, not even a little bit. You would not be spoken about. You would not be mentioned, whatever. Nobody would be checking for him, whatever, if that were the case. There would be no discourse about what he may or may not be able to accomplish, because we wouldn't give a fuck, in other words. I don't necessarily give a damn about this man's attitude or his inflated sense of misplaced entitlement. I don't give a damn about any of that. But I would be absolutely remiss to sit up here and pose as if I did not want to see him get up there and accomplish great things, as I mentioned earlier. That I didn't want to see him, showing a level of warriorship that I believe him to possess. I am a diehard boxing fan, boxing enthusiast. I know a potential when I see it. And I believe that he is among the young men who possess that. right? But that it has to be shown. It has to be shown. It is not that because I am demanding that you get up there and be courageous and show a level of valor. It's not because I'm demanding of you that means that that's synonymous with me hating you or trying to lambaste you. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing whatsoever to do with that. I am rooting for your cultivation. Everywhere I turn, I want to see beautiful brothers to my left. I want to turn and see beautiful brothers to my right, beautiful sisters and brothers to my right and left. I want to see them 10 toes in valiance and honor. Valiance and honor, brothers and sisters. Everywhere I turn, I want to see these brothers and sisters out here on that type of time, claiming space and earning their supremacy. That's why I'm heavy with the pressure. That's why I got all of this smoke. I'm ready to set all of this shit on fire. And I'm asking these motherfuckers, are you ready? You know what I mean? And these niggas out here telling me, oh, the stars gotta align, Mars. Just hold off a little bit. The stars gotta align. And I'm like, nigga, I am the motherfucking stars. What's popping? I got you. Are you ready or nah? What's good? And they telling me to, just hold it off. Let it motherfucking marinate for another goddamn 5 years. Let it marinate for another goddamn 10 years. Oh, it's the politics, it's the business of boxing. The fuck? I got this fucking smoke. Where are you? I'm ready to fucking support you. Where you at? Are you riding or not? I'm on absolute demon time out here. And these niggas say, oh, settle down now. Come on, Sugar Free now. Don't, this is a little bit, you taking it too serious. It's like, what? What the fuck are you supposed to take legacy serious? What the fuck don't you take your supremacy serious? I don't understand that goddamn type of language. Are we going to conquer some shit or no? If you're not, you stay in the back. I'm going where the smoke is. That's absolutely why the young king has my 1000% support. That's absolutely why David Benavidez has my support. That's exactly why I am absolutely vehement about the young Abdullah on his way coming up. That's absolutely why I am 10 toes and nothing less with the GOAT Clarissa Shields. 10 toes and nothing less with the beautiful sister Caroline Dubois out here. That's valor on display. They're not wasting my goddamn time. Moreover, brothers and sisters, what was also crazy about that particular statement, because there were many moments of that in this particular interview. But in that statement of the quote that I just gave, what was also crazy that I had pointed out and noted was that, he said nobody had cared, supposedly, quote unquote, nobody cared about the rehydration clause on Eubank. Oh, nobody cared when he put the rehydration clause on Eubank. Oh, really? Because I didn't get that fucking memo. I remember that there was a lot of chaos, a lot of havoc caused around that particular fight, controversy around that particular fight, in its advent, right? A lot of dialogue surrounding the weight disparity, pretty much, and that Eubank would be coming down from 168, to fight Conor Benn, who was coming up from 47, right? That was a controversial point of that particular matchmaking event. A lot of people had questions about how that was going to happen, how it was going to, play directly into the outcome of the fight. What the fuck you mean nobody cared about that? Where the hell has he been? I know I certainly didn't want to see that fight precisely because of that reason. I did not like that shit going into the first fight. And I absolutely considered it to be a grave mistake on the part of Eubank for taking the fucking rematch. What the hell is he talking about? Nobody cared about the rehydration clause on Eubank. Also, Is that man Shakur Stevenson not aware? Speaking of controversy, is he not aware that Eubank Sr. went on an absolute goddamn tirade against his son taking the initial fight with Conor Benn in the first goddamn place? That man was not having it. Eubank Sr. was not having it. He even fell out with Eubank Jr. and stopped speaking to his own son for a period of time because he did not like that fight was made. And he felt that Eddie Hearn was just, spinning the goddamn money wheel. And he did not want his son to be a part of that. Caused friction between the father and the son around the time of the initial fight, right? Because he knew that his son was endangering his health just to put on this particular type of spectacle. He did not want his son to be made a showpiece at the detriment of his health. He did not like that coming down in weight rehydration debacle. So what is he talking about? Nobody cared. And it's crazy because, yes, even though Eubank Jr. won the first fight, right? What ended up happening was that, he had a crazy ass, severe ass weight cut that was costly to him. Not to mention that in the particular rematch that just happened, it was more of a detriment to his health, as Eubank Jr. himself revealed, because he was dealing with myriad complications, health-wise, that particular second weight cut, just further pushed to the forefront for him. And it caused him, to suffer some, astounding complications, even ones that had to, he's forced to sit back and take a break from boxing for the time being in order to treat himself for whatever ailments that was posed to his body in relation to that. So what the fuck you mean? Oh, nobody cared about this, or you're trying to make it seem as if rehydration ain't no big deal. The fuck is he talking about? And in the same breath, gonna point out how dead Chris Eubank looked in that particular fight. This nigga always talking out two goddamn sides of his mouth. You just said the man looked fucking dead. Turns out he could have been, according to Eubank, because right after that fight, he revealed how sick he was, how compromised his state of health had been. And in reality, for me at least, Conor Benn gets no credit whatsoever for that particular, quote unquote, victory against Eubank in this last fight. Precisely because he fought a fighter that was, quote unquote, dead. That's why he gets no credit from me for having had the defeat over Eubank. Crazy work. So that makes, Core think that he can get on some high horse when it comes to Devin, for saying that, oh, just like Eubank was looking dead and zombified in that particular fight, that's exactly the state that Devin has to be, ladies and gentlemen, in order for me to fight him. But yeah, I do want to fight any and all of these guys at any time with these guys. Do you see the contradiction? It's insane. What the fuck makes Shakur, think that I want to sign up for, a fight, where a fighter is handicapped? Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget, he wants to, let's think about it this way. Essentially, brothers and sisters, what he is telling you is that he wants to impose or enforce a weight clause on the biggest legacy fight of his lifetime. He wants to impose a weight clause and limitation on the biggest fight of his lifetime. Why would limitations or any type of impediments be placed upon a fight of such substantiality, brothers and sisters? Please answer that question for me. You think I want to line up to witness one of the biggest fights that this era of boxing has to produce? You think I want to sign up to see it in a state of being hampered or obstructed or handicapped or encumbered in any goddamn way? What the fuck would be the point, ladies and gentlemen? Why would I want to see such a beautiful fight encumbered in any way whatsoever? Not me. I want all of this work. I don't want these motherfuckers to spare me. That fight, Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, is among the best that this era can produce, period. I want all of that. I don't want a goddamn thing getting in the way or posing as an impediment to that beauty in front of me. I want all of that goddamn work. I don't want nothing hindering that. What the fuck you talking about, rehire goddamn hydration clause? I want both of you motherfuckers in optimal condition from head to goddamn toe. That's a fight for the culture. That's a fight for the history of boxing. Goes right up there with the best of the fights that we can name and run the gamut on. Why would I want such a beautiful fight hampered? Why wouldn't I want both of you in optimal condition? What does that say of him that he would even pose such an idea as that? That Devin ought to only be able to come in there at a detriment, in a state of deficit and being compromised. You don't get to get up there, in that ring with your goddamn pinky nails up, wasting my goddamn time. This is the issue that we have on our hands, good people, is that this mentality, precisely is the reason, for a recoiling from the proximity to merit and honor and greatness. This is the recoiling. This is boxing's problem with being in proximity to merit. This is an example. This is one of the best examples I could have brought to the forefront for our discussion today. And it was why it was so central for us to go in and divulge these particular things. This is the problem on our hands as boxing enthusiasts. We got a bunch of fucking diva energy. All of it is encumbering the flow of greatness, the exemplification of greatness, the actualization of greatness. It's encumbering that. It's inhibiting that from being had. It's inhibiting the spirit of merit and quality in boxing, that particular mindset that this man holds, as exemplified in that interview. I have a problem with that. So long as he is talking about Devin Haney, all of these limitations have to be applied. And we already know that aside from Red Light Special Davis, the Young King is his biggest legacy fight. How is it that he is ready to take on allegedly everybody? And he's got all the excuses in the world, all the impediments in the world ready-made when it comes to Devin. But you want to claim that you are the best. This is an area where you cannot have both and. You either with the smoke or you not. And apparently he is not. And he has painted that picture beyond a shadow of a doubt for me, at least up until this particular point. He is making it absolutely known that Devin Haney is where he draws the line. That is where he draws the line to being in proximity to his own merit, brothers and sisters. I have a problem with that. That is where he is drawing a line in the sand. I was absolutely repulsed by what I heard. I was repulsed by the demeanor behind those sentiments, of all of those half-witted excuses that he spewed all over that particular interview, brothers and sisters. Crazy work to me. Let me check in with the good people. Salute Jose Diaz in the building. I see you. Peace to anybody I may have missed as well. I'm just scrolling up a little bit to see your thoughts on this. Yeah, I see the good people are really, really. Oh, look at the great Mike in the building. Salute to the great Mike. He says, Shakur and the evasive squad just tiptoe around all smoke. T.O. been looking subpar, which is why we have a fight. That is an excellent point. That's an excellent point. And we have to consider that. We absolutely have to consider the reality of that, great Mike. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez, what, the past 3 fights? You know what I mean? He looked crazy against Barboza to me. He definitely looked crazy against who was that? Ortiz. And then of course the Claggets. I think those were the last 3 or something like that. You know, he has not, you know, been looking stellar, so to speak. He got his victories, but he hasn't necessarily looked stellar in the least bit, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So yes, that's definitely can be attributed to why, or at least one of the reasons why, Core Stevenson signed up for this particular fight. Even though, like I said, I am heavily leaning for Core to get the victory. I think, like, you know, if we get a TO that is focused, that fight may actually be very much more competitive than, we would be allowed to believe, given the fact of TO's last several fights. I would hope that it would be competitive, or whatever have you, but, we'll see what happens. But that's definitely an interesting point, and it's definitely one I've considered as well. Crazy work. Jose says, I got to give it to you. You on point. Thank you, King. I appreciate you. Salute to my beautiful Queen Mama Love in the super chat. She says, always supporting the grind and standing 10 toes down with the warrior queen, SugarFreeMars and DHP. Thank you so much, Queen Mama Love, for that support and the wonderful words. I definitely appreciate you always. You already know what it is. Big, big love to the Queen Mama, Chiquila Fields. Appreciate you. The King Devil says that Norman fight really put the world on notice. Wow, didn't it? Didn't it, King Devil? It really did. I think, and it was right on time as well, because we had all these speculations going around. We had all of these people, doing their best to detract from the young King Devin. They wanted him to be the pillow-fisted runner that they deemed him to be. They wanted so badly for him to be that. And then he showed up to that Brian Norman fight, and just reminded them, listen, motherfucker, y'all are sitting up here still drunk and high off of the drug cheating that Ryan Garcia did. Y'all are still, trying to, satiate your palate with the idea of me being compromised in the ring against a drug cheat, as if that's who I am, as if I haven't, always shown, my level of valiance and heart and honor in the ring. You guys just want to keep that image in your minds, as if that, I wasn't dealing in real time with a fucking counterfeit ass, heartless ass coward in Ryan Garcia, who had to cheat in order to do what he did. Right? So that they were willing to absolutely, make it seem as if Devin Haney's history of fighting has been one of, being in a compromised position, as if Devin Haney has not dominated in his fights, as if Devin Haney has not boxed, as if Devin Haney has not stood toe-to-toe and fought all types of styles in previous fights. They want to keep him in an image of having been compromised by a drug cheat. And, they wanted to assume that, all of a sudden overnight he just turned into this fighter, who they said was running against Barboza. I'm sorry, against Ramirez, Jose Ramirez, back in May. Oh, he's the runner. He's the runner, you guys. Devin Haney doesn't fight. He runs. It's crazy work. So that when this Brian Norman fight came about, it was definitely on time for him to give a huge reminder to the boxing world of just who he is and just how much he stands to be. Because he is still so young and he is still growing. And I believe that there will be much, much more that he will continue to show. And that fight, and that Brian Norman fight, was definitely, as far as him assuming the era, as I call it now, it's the Devin Haney era. Now that we have Bud Crawford, who officially retired, I believe we are now entering into the Devin Haney era. I think that Brian Norman fight was a hell of a goddamn way to initiate the transition into his era, for sure. The twin says, Devin is out here doing sex change surgeries. He's turning these men into bitches ASAP, left and right. Left and right, twin. No lies told. The King Ross says, sassy squad. Child. Salute to the King Drew in the building. I see my big bro. Salute to the King Drew in the building. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, King. Lovely to see you. Yeah, did you guys oh, salute to the King, Raul Garcia in the building. I see you. Blessings to you. Thank you for joining. Oh, look at the richest one in the building. Salute to the richest one. He says, I don't know why Eubank agreed to that shit. Me neither, King. Ain't he crazy? I just did not want him to do that. You know what I mean? He kind of skated by on a thread with that first fight. That first fight, he had the crazy ass weight cut, that he admitted to, had been giving him issues. But of course, he was victorious in that. But this second one, child, his body was like, not again. Oh, hell to the no. His body was like, nope, not doing it again. And you absolutely could see it. You absolutely could see it in that rematch. That he was half of what he was when he was already half of himself to begin with in the initial fight, And the crazy thing is that Shakur absolutely was aware of that, just as we all were aware of that and looking at him, and still, has the goal to say, okay, well, just like how he had Eubank all dead, as he said, that's exactly the state that I need to have Devin in because I'm just so small of a fighter. It's crazy work. Don't call yourself the best then. Don't call out for the names of these dudes. If that's the case, just stay your small ass at goddamn 126. And secondly, brothers and sisters, how was this man barely a 126 pounder when he fucking missed weight on a goddamn scales at 130? Am I tripping here or no, you guys? The man motherfucking lost the fucking belts from missing weight at 30. Fuck are we talking about? You're barely 126. Barely 135. And these guys are so much bigger than you. Oh my God, you are just so tiny. But you fucking drop, missing weight. Oh my God, you guys. This stuff is diabolical to me, brothers and sisters. Absolutely diabolical to me. Let me check in here. Yes, exactly. Great, Mike. Eubank took bread that he shouldn't have. And that's why that father, Eubank Sr., was not with it at the outset, of the initial fight. He was like, nope, I'm not having it. I don't like it at all. I'm not with it. And it caused a rift between them. Senior was not happy about it at all. The King Devil says, what? Tank is in talks with Pacquiao, allegedly. And if it's at 147, then that's crazy. Are you serious? Allegedly in talks with Pacquiao? I don't know what to even say about that, honestly. Real talk, I don't even consider Trapped in the Closet Davis, because I think I'm gonna have to add that name onto his other names. That's gonna be his damn third nickname. I don't know what the hell. I don't even consider him to be an active fighter at this point. Tank Davis, I don't even consider him, like, he's not even registered in my mind as an active fighter currently. So I don't know what to make of that. Whatever he does, is what he does, but he's not even, I don't even consider him a real, he's not within the conversation anymore for me at all. I was going to drop a link to see if you guys maybe wanted to touch on some other aspects that you maybe wanted to expound upon a little bit. That's if you guys are up to it. If not, I think I'm trying to figure out how I do that. I think I literally just, hold on. I think I just put this here. Maybe we just have maybe like a few minutes of dialogue if you guys wanted. Hold on a sec. If you guys had any questions or you guys wanted to make some points, um, or if you guys wanted to share any of your own thoughts about what's going on, about any point of discussion, that could be cool. Um, let's see if this works. Let's just try it out and see if this works, you guys. Can you guys see that? All right, so I think I put the link in the chat. This is definitely new. This is my first time trying this, you guys. So we shall see if anybody is interested in adding some other points that you found to be interesting, or you wanted to talk to me about something, or just expound upon some points that we made about our discussion, or whatever it is, for a few minutes before we wrap up. There's the link. I think that should be the link. I think that should be the link. So let me know what's popping. In the meantime, yeah, you guys, boxing is definitely an interesting place. And, I really want to see more. I want to see more courage in the sport, and I want to see more passion, really. It's not even necessarily about that. I want to see, people rip each other's heads off or whatever the case is. Valor is valor, warriorship is warriorship. But I want to see our young brothers really out here, attaining and assuming and amassing reputability for themselves, in a line of great men who did it. You understand? I think that is what feeds the sport. That's what feeds the sport. And I find it all too prevalent a thing that, many of our fighters of this era are allowed to be bypassed and looked over. Did you guys see that whole Ring Magazine, pound for pound list that they had out there with the goddamn Junto, goddamn Nakatani over Devin and over Benavidez? And it's just like, I think our fighters are allowed to be fighters of note and of worth that we know to be spectacular fighters, are so often allowed to be overlooked because, they don't have a level of vehemence behind them. And the fighters that do exemplify that level of passion and determination are oftentimes overlooked by these notable outlets because, a lot of times they have narratives going against them. You understand? I think the boxing community has to realign the mentality that they have about how it is that they are approaching boxing in this day and age, because there is so much that is looking to thwart the progress, particularly of the young elite Black fighters. That is definitely unique to us and always has been within the sports, that we hold a very, very unique place. I would even say David Benavidez is up against the similar type of thing as well, because he isn't so readily, beloved as far as the public. I mean, he's loved, right? We call him the Mexican monster and stuff like that. And everybody knows that he's on demon time, right? But even he is kind of kept out of the limelight. And I think that he should be absolutely heralded right along with the likes of Devin Haney. Right along. I mean, if we can give Purple Pain Davis all of this accreditation, why the fuck isn't anybody looking to Benavidez, who is actually fighting the best among his goddamn weight class and so forth and so on? Hold on. I think I just saw my brother come into the building, the King and the Coach Hudson. Hold on. Let me add page. Salute to my brother, the comrade.
Salute, Queen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, King. Infinite blessings to you. Thank you so much. So I did it right. Okay, so I did it the right way. That's the first link I sent out, so I was hoping I did it right.
Oh yeah, you got it right, Queen. You've been cooking. Got to give a shout out. This is the Queen of Boxing Media, and peace to everyone in the chat. And I just want to say this: it is a disgusting day in boxing when the women have more smoke for each other. I watched Clarissa Shields and Freyshawn Cruz press conference, And these are sisters that came up in the USA boxing program the same way Keyshawn, Shakur, T.O., Ryan, all of them came up in the program as well. And do you know what those sisters said to each other? They said that even though we came up together and we're like sisters, we got to run it for the sport. We
Mm.
have to get it in for the sport. Alicia Bumgarner says, well, I want to show the men that we can hang with you. So I want to do 12 rounds, 3 minutes, putting her very life on the line for boxing. And I
Facts.
have to get on here and hear Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn talk about the trenches. I want to know what warfare have you all gone through. I
Mm.
want to know what bullets have you both ran from in these trenches that you all been through so much where you all can't fight each other. If I remember correctly, they met each other in their teens. Y'all been boxing since y'all were 7, 8 years old. So I
Mm.
call it a cop out. Now let me tell you all what's going to happen. And we have been giving you all prophecy over the past 2 years, and all of these things have come to pass. When you all thought that Devin Haney was down and out and it was over with, I said, just keep on watching. You're going to see what happens with Ryan. You're going to see what happens with Devin. And every single person got their wake up call. And we can go deep into that another time. But Keyshawn, I was watching Keyshawn and the energy he had when he was training with Shakur. And you know what I said? I said, Keyshawn is going to surpass Shakur. And this is what I mean, family. You all better hope. Those of you who are Shakur apologists now. You see, the Queen, Sugar Free Mars, and myself, Coach Hudson, we are for the integrity of the sport of boxing. We
Mhm.
don't follow one fighter blindly. If
Mhm.
any fighter does anything to go against the integrity of the sport, we're not with it. Now,
Mhm.
if Keyshawn gets an opportunity to fight Devin at 147, let's say it's a draw. Shakur, all that brother talk, Keyshawn not gonna be on that because he's going to surpass you, brother, and you are going to deserve everything you put out. You cannot be double-minded, double-tongued. The person that came in the chat earlier and said something along the lines of, well, Devin should have just waited at 135 and da da da. Do we have amnesia? Do you all forget the sacrifices that Devin Haney had to go through just to get that
Exactly.
fight with Kambosos, just to get that fight with Lomachenko? And after
Yes.
that, you mean Devin is supposed to do bad business again once he is the man and holds the belts and gives Shakur more than what he's worth? All right, fine. Let's play devil hypocrite both sides, right? I heard Shakur say, I'll go to 154 to fight Conor Ben.
That's right.
Then I hear there's talks of Tank fighting Pacquiao at 147. So if they can go up, not just that, Tank was willing to go up and fight Jake Paul. So it seems it's not a weight issue. You all should be disabused from that argument. What it looks like is you all wanted a drained Devin Haney and have that advantage because you really don't believe in yourself. So listen, family, the walls are closing in. They
Yep.
can't go back down because there's killers chasing them up the mountain. Oshaki Foster is chasing. Frank
Mhm.
Martin's right there at 140 now. They're
Mhm.
either going to have to fight the best family or they're going to have to get out the way. This is the sport of boxing. And if you are not going to do what the people that came before you did, you can't be Money Mayweather before being Pretty Boy Floyd. You
Right.
cannot claim this greatness that you have and you haven't done anything. And if you all don't like what Queen Sugar Free Mars is saying, don't be mad at Queen Sugar Free Mars. Be mad at your fighter. Be mad that they don't want to do what's best for them. And I honestly believe that Shakur's mindset is not in the right place. I
Yeah.
believe that I believe that it's a lot of hypocrisy going on. And just like we called it, and you all can get as mad as you want, we told you when Devin Haney beats Brian Norman Jr., you all were going to turn on him. You all were
Mhm.
going to turn on his father, and not even the next day, that night, you all, those of you who are Pro boxing fans, when I say you all who are race fans, casuals, those of you who don't want to see the best fighting the best because you have this sick man crush on this individual or whoever it might be, with these things happening, let's look at it. Let's look at Shakur. Let's look at Tank. Let's look at all of these guys that are claiming they're the best. You cannot get upset because we are saying, hey, we need the best to fight the best, or please just move out the way. Be mad at your fighter. Don't be mad at the truth tellers.
Absolutely. Absolutely 100% concur. We got somebody who joined named B in boxing. Salute to you. You're on mute. You there? You're on mute. Hold on. You want me to unmute? Let me unmute you. Oh, I can't unmute you. You got to unmute yourself. There we go.
Peace.
Peace. Salute. Who is this?
Peace and love. This is brother Yabe.
Yabe, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Queen. I'm normally on different people's blogs or channels listening. And one, the brother Champ Side, the brother Blue Bud. I mean, reputable people. The boxing voice, and also I'll check in with you because you be dropping jewels, and also the other brother. There's another brother. I forgot his name. The best fight, the best. So
yes, beautiful King BFTB.
What I found out was this, which I thought was interesting. The whole Devin Haney thing, being that Devin Haney is one of my favorite. He's probably my favorite fighter now, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I've noticed is, they've been blocking him to get to the places that he wants to. So he's trying to unify the belts, which I thought was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, I said, well, if they're blocking him and his WBO mandatory is Jack Catterall, I think. I'll just look. And I said, well, last night, I asked ChatGPT, I looked in the ring, and I said, to be the lineal champion, you have to be the first. The number one has to fight the number two.
Mm-hmm.
Then the winner of that gets the championship. As of now, Devin Haney is number one, Brian Norman is number two. But as the time of them fighting, that wasn't so. So, with that being the case, another rule is if one can't fight two for whatever reason, or if he beat two, then one can fight number three. And number three is Stanionis. So my thought was, I wonder why Bill or anybody's not pressing the fact that if Devin Haney fights Stanionis, that'll be the one fighting the three for the ring belt. Not only will Devin fight him if he beats him, he will become the ring champion and also would be the lineal champion in the division where he is the man then. So no matter what they do, they will have to recognize him as being the WBO champion as well as being the ring champion and the lineal champion as well. Then things will be good. So I'm just throwing that out there. I wonder what you think about that, and if anybody else have anything to think. Thank you.
So I definitely agree that would be dope. With the 1s and 2 or the 1 and 3 fighting or whatever have you, for that lineal status. I know that actually I was on scrolling through Twitter earlier, and I think it was actually the Boxing Voice or one of those platforms that had tweeted something, asking Dev pretty much what he has in store next, or if he is, entertaining, what options he's entertaining right now. And Devin says that there are quite a few that he is looking into. So I don't know. That probably is something in the works because, of course, we know that the Crocker fight, for whatever, well, we know what the reason is why Eddie Hearn is, so adamantly pressed about, thwarting that particular unification fight with Crocker. Even though Devin Haney is plenty available for it, Bill Haney ran up on him and said, this is what we want. They're willing to go overseas over there to Ireland to get it done. But whatever the reason behind that stall out, I know that was primary, of course. Unification trumps everything for the young king, but who knows? But he did divulge that he is exploring some options. He did not say what those options were, but that very much is probably a part of the plans. I wouldn't be surprised. I would hope to think that we would get some type of announcement, because I believe the King BFTB had shared on his page, that there was a supposed February card, ring card, that Devin was supposed to be a part of. I don't know if that's still in the works. Of course, we're already in January now, so I don't know if he was still, pushing to be on that particular card. I think that's where he wanted to fight Rolly, of course, before the duckery happened. So I don't know if he is still trying to get in position to fight on that particular February card, or if he is just keeping all avenues open at this point. But I would like to think that we would hear something soon of what's going to happen, whether it be the unification or whether it be, of course, him attaining lineal status by fighting, by the fights between, the top three or whatever have you. We'll see. We'll see. The doors are definitely open for that. So I just can't wait to see what will be done. I just want some action going on. Of course, above everything else, I would want to see unification, but that ring belt and that lineal status is definitely of importance as well. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens.
Question, Queen, if you don't mind me asking, do the boxing community recognize the ring belt as a unified belt? Because I noticed, like, whenever it's a champion, normally if the champion fights the champion, they're either unifying the belt. But I know, and also I noticed when you collect all the belts, then you are deemed to
you
be
get the ring belt. Yeah.
But you can't be undisputed without having the ring belt, correct?
You can't be undisputed. Well, I know that the ring belt is like, it's just like an additive to that. Is that correct? That's how I've seen it.
That's what I wanted to know. So what I was thinking is, if as the old folks would say, it's more than one way to skin a cat. If they're blocking you from the front door, then you can always go through the back door. Being that I always ask questions, and I just asked the question to see, like, whoa, wait a minute. If this is a belt that most people have, and it's a free belt too, but to gain that belt, one have to fight two, or one has to fight three. If that's the case, then that's basically unifying a belt. So the winner of that is unifying the belt. So they are the man, no matter how you slice it. He has two belts. Then now you either fight the man, or because he'll be ranked probably number one in all the different belt holding divisions. Because if you're the unified number one, if you're the number one in the rank, are you number one in all the other sanctioning bodies? That's a question as well that I would like to ask.
That's interesting.
No.
I don't think so, actually. I don't think you are number one in all, because they all operate separately. But that's I think I have to actually hold on.
Yeah, just because you hold the ring belt doesn't mean you're going to be ranked number one with all.
Yeah, you're not going to be ranked everywhere, but I know that the ring belt is kind of added. Actually, I do want to look that up. Hold on. The ring belt.
Yeah, that old slick Eddie Hearn, boy, I tell you.
That's a good question, actually.
Because I was just looking at all the rankings.
The premier belt representing lineal reign rather than just a sanctioning fee title belt. So there we go. We spoke already about the lineal belt. Historically, it represented linear champions. In modern times, it has sometimes been used to recognize top contenders in specific high-profile matches. So basically, you can be awarded it, in particular bouts. So if it's a highly recognized bout or highly anticipated bout, maybe you would be, that particular belt would be on the line, but you would have to be recognized as such. I think I remember Devin was actually trying to call for the ring belt to be on the line. Was it for this Brian Norman fight or was it for the Ramirez fight? I forget which one it was. But he wanted that belt to be on the line, and it was in question if it would be, and I don't think that they had put it on the line.
I believe it was the Brian Norman fight he was asking for it to
Yeah.
be on.
Yeah.
Because I think they ended up putting Devin Haney as the #1
Right.
ranked welterweight. But at that time, which was very interesting, I never knew who was #1 before put him #1 and was Brian Norman #2 the whole time. That was very interesting for him to ask for that. It had to be maybe some type of discrepancy in the rankings, and also for the pound for pound. I was wondering, most of the pound for pounds, the high guys, the top 5 are all top 5 belt holders in the ring. Like it's the top 5 pound for pound on the top 5 pound for pound ring list. Are they all ring belt holders?
Oh, so the ring. Okay, hold on. Ring mag pound for pound. Let's see. Okay, so they have Usyk is #1, Inoue is #2. They have Bam Rodriguez #3, Dimitri Bivol #4, and Beterbiev #5. Now, you're saying, are they all ring belt holders? That's an interesting question.
I believe all of them, other than Beterbiev, is a ring belt holder currently. Beterbiev was in #5 probably before Terrence Crawford was there, so he would have moved out of that top 5 ranking. With Terrence Crawford there, all 5 of them would have been ring belt holders. Matter of fact, if you look at the ring magazine under 168, I believe Terrence Crawford is still on there, ranked as the lineal holder of the belt.
Even though he relinquished them?
Yes, because he still is the lineal champion.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because when you go to the WBO website, it's vacant.
Let me go there.
But Queen SugarFreeMars, I'm gonna head on out. I just wanted to call in and support you.
Yes, I appreciate
you that you are doing a great job. Your first time dropping the link, and I love it. I love to see your growth. So salute to you, and shout out to you as well, brother.
Thank you so much, King. Blessings, infinite blessings to my #1 comrade.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you, brother. And also, sister, I don't want to hold your first your link drop for hostage. I'm about to lay my baby down, my beautiful daughter, because she gotta go to school tomorrow. And read her
blessings
book.
to the princess.
Blessings. Yeah, I mean, I gotta be daddy. I gotta be big daddy tonight. So I'll do that. But I'll definitely be listening then. So thank you very much, sister.
No problem. Thank you so much for joining. I definitely appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead.
Thank you. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Yes, good people. So I definitely appreciate you guys for joining. I think I will end it there. Don't want to hold up the night too long, I guess, but wonderful opportunity to speak to the comrade, to speak to the king, Yabe in the building. Thank you so much for calling. My first call in ever. That was wonderful. And also wonderful to chop it up with the good family, as always, on some good old boxing talk. I think I got some more super chats. Let me just read these before we head out. Oh my goodness, salute to my twin Daryl in the building. He says, damn, I miss these cooks. Sugar Free is going to make it rain 9s for 2026. Get him, twin. Thank you so much, King. I appreciate you, twin, for that love and that support, as always. The King Ra is back in the super chat. He says, Shakur, you had a weight clause at 35, Doug. Infinite blessings to the King Ra, and salute to the King Nata in the building. Blessing the super chat as always. Thank you so much, King, for the support. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it here for now. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much for rocking with me, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the discussion. Oh my goodness, I just saw the King Snacks in the building. Salute to you, King. Infinite blessings to you. Peace to everybody who joined in. I definitely appreciate like minds in a space where we can talk on some wonderful boxing. So infinite blessings to the good family. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I will catch y'all on the next one, you guys. Peace and infinite blessings.